Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Walking Dead series by The Verdict's In. I'm your host, Nicole.
I'm Gary.
And today we're talking about The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 20, entitled Splinter. It is our instant cast. We just finished watching. Gary, what are your immediate thoughts?
Dope. This was a damn good episode. I loved it. I don't know who's in the writer's room over at The Walking Dead, but they are doing an amazing job.
Yeah. They did a good job. I mean, they've been doing a good job since season 9. Season 10 was a little rough here and there. They let the Whisper story go on a little too long.
I think it feels different this year.
Yeah. Well, it's still season 10, actually, now I think about it. It's just these are the quote-unquote bonus episodes.
These are what they added onto it.
Yeah.
Because you could tell some of this stuff, like last episode when I said it gave me Katrina vibes. This episode.
Oh, so you're thinking they wrote this during the apocalypse or during the pandemic.
Exactly.
It's possible. I just remember them announcing that there were going to be extra episodes, but they might have announced it early pandemic, because I know when we were watching, you were definitely getting some vibes there as far as, abuse of power, brutality. Yeah.
All that.
So somewhat similar to police brutality.
Correct.
Yeah.
And this episode proves that, who's that? Pastor Gabriel. Mm-hmm. It proves that he was right.
What was he right about?
About evil, bad people.
Oh, you know what? When you were saying Pastor Gabriel, I was thinking of Ezekiel in my mind. Okay. Pastor Gabriel, what he said, evil people are the rule.
And they are the rule. Because it doesn't matter how good these people say they are. You have done too much bad shit.
So far from what we've seen. Well, we can't trust what we've seen, can we? Can we trust what we've seen so far? Because Princess's mind, her seeing Ezekiel. So does that mean they really did hit Yumiko? Did they really slap Princess across the face? What do we know for sure has happened?
I believe that part, the abuse part, was real. I believe everything else that she put in her mind to kind of take away from it, that was the fake part of it.
Right. Pretty much just her seeing Eugene, her talking to Yumiko, and her
taking on the different personalities.
Right.
And that bond that she took on her head that her and the King had. Yeah. That was a pretty tight bond. Not to have known each other that long.
Right, because when the King said, these are my friends, I was like, damn, King. And he's like, I didn't mean it that way, and da-da-da. But in a way, it's true. I mean, like she said, she just met them a week ago. But at the same time, like she said, again, a week ago is years in the zombie
apocalypse. Yep.
I felt bad for Princess hearing her backstory and the reason why she probably did start to hallucinate and start to freak out. It sounds like she didn't have the best of childhood.
Right, it was trauma.
Childhood. Yeah, there was some trauma there, and that's why she didn't like being in enclosed space and dark space alone. And she's already been alone for so long.
And what she had to deal with so far since she's been there, abuse of power, like you said, the dark space, locked up. It was a little too convenient for all the hoes to be in there in the first place. Yeah. I was like, damn, these people are kind of slacking on their security, because there was a hole right there leading to the other spot, which, you seen daylight. So I said, there's no other cart on the side of that.
When she was talking to Yumiko, I didn't question that part of it. But when she went over to talk to Eugene, I'm like, wait, did that thing just pop up? Like, she just now noticed that, the thing popped up there?
Yeah.
Even though, like you mentioned when we were watching her, like, in her mind, her hallucination, Eugene was still Scary Cat.
Eugene was still Eugene.
Yeah. He was still scared, which I kind of felt what he was saying. Like, chill out. Let's see what's going to happen.
I didn't really feel that. I feel like they've seen enough. I mean, when you first get there, people pull guns on you, and then they hit your friend with a gun. I mean, that's abuse of power.
Right.
I mean, that's what happens when people get too much power and they start feeling themselves. They get a little too aggressive with it. Like, there was no reason. There's other things they could have did to kind of calm her down. They could have grabbed her, held her, kind of got her to the ground, put cuffs on her. I mean, they did all that anyway. The abuse of power was unnecessary.
Right. And even when you're trying to vet new people, we remember when our group got to Alexandria. They may have split them up. They may have interviewed them and all that stuff, but they never once physically abused them.
I mean, that's a nice word, interview.
Well, they interviewed them, they interrogated. I don't even call it interrogating, because they just really interviewed them at Alexandria when they first got there. And then I'm also thinking of when Yumiko, as I mentioned last week.
I really think an interview is voluntary.
Well, I mean, okay, fine. You can call it interrogation. It's not an aggressive interrogation. That's why I'm not calling it interrogation.
I mean, if a job come to your house and pick you up and force you to tell you about yourself, that's that's not an interview.
But in this case, they didn't come and pick them up. They came to their spot.
They came to a spot. They didn't know it was their spot. So
they knew it was a spot because that's where they went to.
But in a sense, they were picked up. Agree
to disagree. Now, I will say, watching back, now I'm watching season 9 again, and I just saw the episode where Yumiko and the whole group, Luke and all of them, get picked up or get saved by Judith. And once again, yes, our group doesn't trust them, but not once did our group abuse them. Not once did our group beat them. Even when they found the knife on the other one, Magneta or something like that. Not Yumika's girlfriend. They found the knife on her or whatever, and they had reasons for suspicion, and they didn't once beat them up. So, in a way, regardless if these people are quote unquote good, they're not that good if this is how they're handling.
Yeah, they're not letting off good vibes.
Right. Yeah, at the same time, the guy said we have a large group and we need to be very, very careful. Their large group could be thousands. It could be hundreds of thousands for all we know. So I'm not trying to judge them just yet. So far, I don't like how they're handling when new people come in. But we'll have to see where we go with this group.
There's not much more that I need to see. I think I've seen enough when I came in. I'm already judging these people. There are some things you can't take back. And that over-aggressiveness, you can't take back. You can't say, oh, we just trying to test you out. There's other ways to do it, like you said our group did. Our group brought them in, separated them, and not interview. Or if you was an interview, force interviewed them. But it was no abuse of power, I don't think.
No, with our group, there definitely wasn't abuse of power. But just seeing whatever it is that they may have to protect, imagine what our group was and they had maybe 50 people to protect. This guy, he's saying that, hey, we have a large group. And I'm thinking by large group, he may mean 1,000, he may mean 2,000. And their criteria is just a little bit stronger. Not excusing how they handled it. Definitely there was no excuse for them hitting
he was not believable either.
Oh, you didn't believe him?
Just like Princess. No, I didn't believe him. Because remember, he picked up the little walkie-talkie and said, hey, I got everything. Come out. He was playing her like she was getting played in her mind.
I didn't think he was playing her until pretty much he opened the door. Yeah, I think he said something.
Well, that's how playing works. You're not supposed to know they're playing you.
Yeah.
I mean, but we've all saw it was proven that he was playing her.
Yeah, that he was playing her this whole time. Right. Now, did you know that Ezekiel was a figment of her imagination?
I did not. That was a surprise.
When we were watching, not exactly when it happened, I didn't say anything until after it showed that he was a figment of her imagination. But when it first showed Ezekiel there, I was like, wait, how did Ezekiel get there? Because I think I was doing something at the time when he popped up. But then when he started hitting her, I was like, this does not feel like Ezekiel. At least in my head, that's what I was saying. So then when it was shown that Ezekiel was a figment of her imagination, I wasn't all that surprised.
Hold up, when he started hitting who?
When he was hitting the stormtrooper guy.
Ezekiel?
Yeah. No, I know that it was Princess that was hitting him.
No, but that seemed like Ezekiel to me.
I know Ezekiel doesn't do that type of stuff. That did not seem like Ezekiel to me.
You don't think so?
No. When have we ever seen Ezekiel do something like that?
I think he's capable. I think he's capable of trying to save his group and do what it takes, do what he has to do.
No, I was very surprised. And then also what made me suspicious when the guy was like, what are they going to say? I got taken down by a girl. And I'm like, well, what about Ezekiel? And then,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I thought the same thing.
Ezekiel was there too. So I kind of thought that in my head, but I didn't technically say anything out loud. So I guess it can't be like I knew it all along, but I did feel like I sort of knew it all along.
But why Ezekiel? Why did she build that bond with him where she kept saying, you know how it was when we grew up? They did this to us.
Yeah, that's a unique thing because we don't know anything about Ezekiel's upbringing. But remember when we did meet him, he would call himself the king. He still does.
He is the king.
And he had a gold like a tiger or a lion or something.
He still should have a tiger. His lion.
So, it's safe to say that maybe he did. Well, he said he was in the theater. So, but it may be safe to say that he's had some trauma too.
Or she could have attached to him. She need that figure, that father figure, that big brother figure. She need to be loved.
I was a little surprised that she had this strong attachment to any of them. But at the same time, she's been alone for so long to finally meet some people. You're going to attach to them. Like, oh, hell no. I just finally met these people. These are my people. They've been my people for a week.
I mean, I know you already said it, but in a zombie apocalypse, like she said, a week is forever.
Yeah. And then thinking back, like, we've all watched, I Am Legend, and just seeing how, like, Will Smith was trying to get the courage to, like, ask a mannequin out on a date. Like, your mind goes someplace. And that's what she was saying. She's like, this, please excuse my insane mind. This is my mind, but is it really insane in this insane world or whatever? So I really like Princess, and I just hope that she survives, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I love the part when she said 28, 29, I don't know, 100. I lost count.
Yo, I was like, that's so real because that's like real life. Like, how old are you? Fuck, I don't know. Let me do the math. I don't know. Fuck. Especially in this apocalypse. Like, what year is it? What day of the week it is?
Yeah.
So for her to have been 10 years in the apocalypse when we've only been 1 year, it's it'd definitely be hard to remember how old you are.
Oh, you mean pandemic? You talking about us?
Yeah,
talking about 1 year.
I got the apocalypse, it's 1 year in the apocalypse, a little over 1 year now.
Some places.
Yeah, it's not the zombie apocalypse, but it is an apocalypse.
Yeah, some places it's an apocalypse.
Yeah.
Some places they closed everything down. Not in Atlanta.
Some places are still partying. Like, I would love when they did Fear the Walking Dead. Now that we've seen what the apocalypse, like a real apocalypse, looks like, I would have loved to see them do Fear the Walking Dead at the beginning to show what really would be happening. Like, they were like, there's zombies over in Texas, and they'd be like, we're still partying over here in Georgia. Like, like I would have loved to have seen what it really was like.
We don't believe you.
We don't believe you. That's just,
Zombies don't kill black people.
Like, now somebody really needs to do a beginning of a zombie show and really show what it'd be like, because I think the world would still your neighborhood. People would still be out going to the store and they'd be like, is that a zombie in the parking lot? Like,
tissue will be gone.
Right.
The first thing's gone. Tissue,
water, alcohol, drugs.
Well, they showed the drugs part.
Yeah, but they haven't really showed the drugs on
in Fear, the Fear, that's how it started.
Yeah, he was high.
Right.
But he was high pre-apocalypse, not after the apocalypse.
Well, it didn't stop anything.
Yeah. Now, that's one thing I feel like they are lacking on this show. I really need to see more people. I know we talked about it, but we really need to see more people walking around high, drunk, something. You're just not walking around sober where there's zombies around. Like, it is, no. Just no way. And they had the nerve to judge Bob when he wanted a bottle of alcohol. Come on now. But yeah, I hope Princess is okay. Hearing that her stepdaddy hit her, and just hearing like her finger getting infected, and they're like, fuck it, send her back to school. Her finger gets more infected and she couldn't stay. Like, that was sad.
She said it happened like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. It got reinfected, and that's why that splinter, she was like tripping over that splinter. Like, oh, hell no. This ain't about to happen to me again.
I mean, I was here before you.
Right. This is my house.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a lot of trauma there. And I hope, well, I can't say, there's nothing worse than there being trauma in your life and now the apocalypse happened. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you get help. You could seek out anybody. You could talk to a shrink therapist or anything. I mean, now you're stuck in that mindset. I mean, yeah, you could be around people that maybe could make you forget about it for a second, a day or two, but it's always going to be there because there's no one there to help you. I don't think we've seen. I mean, everybody say, okay, there's a doctor in this community, but where's the therapist?
Where's the therapy? We don't see any groups. I would love to see the more human connection,
like a support.
Yeah, support group of some sort, you know. Yeah, that's fucked up that happened to her. And then just to know that she was alone for so long that she doesn't even remember how old she is at this point. It's like, what age am I don't know.
Yeah, I think after a while days are going to fall together, and I mean it's like that now.
Right. I would have to say, how many years has it been since this began? I can tell you I was 20 when it began. I don't know how long it's been though.
Oh, I'm not aging.
Yeah.
If I was 20 when it started, every time you ask me, that's why. Yeah, 20.
Which is what you're saying that as a joke, but they were I just saw that on some news or whatever report, and they were saying that some people feel like they're stuck because so many people were put their life on hold for like, oh, this is a month or two, like everything was on hold. Oh, 3 months, 4 months, and now it's like a year, and they felt like they lost that year. Especially people who are in that growing up stage, or the adolescents, the kids, the young adults, the ones that are in college, and you know, those where there's very important shit happening during these years. To me, it was just another year. Like, you know, there was nothing significant happening in my life that was like, oh, I'm turning 21 or something like that, or I'm about to finish high school or start college. But those people, like, they're a lot, it's affected them, I heard, a lot more.
It has. And like I was mentioning on the first podcast we were back, one thing that happened within like the first month, 2 months, people were like, oh, I can't take it, I'm in the house. I mean, you were sitting there and we were actually judging. We were like, oh, it's only been a month, it's only been 2 months.
Right.
But as time went on, we started to feel the same way. It felt like we were stuck. I don't know, that depression start kicking in. Like this can't be life.
Right.
And like I said, we lost the motivation. We didn't we talked about it.
Yep.
But then when it was time, like I'm taking another nap.
Right.
I'm going back to sleep.
Why pod when you can take a 5-hour day nap? Like,
right.
You know.
I'm about to go over to the package store. What you want? I mean, you know, life caught up with us. So the same thing, and I guess it took us so long because we weren't party heads before. Mm-hmm. We were, you know, we went out, we dates, this, that, the other, but we didn't always have to be out there.
Yeah. And,
you know, the people, but at, let me say from 18, maybe before that, to like 25, 26, we probably were out all the time.
Right.
We had to be somewhere. So I can see how that depression catch up with you when you can't do that anymore, when things start closing down. But, you know, at our age, you know, I'm like, okay, this month is a vacation. 2 months is, we vacating now.
Right.
But then after like the 5th, 6th, 7th, you're like, damn, I'm really depressed right now. There is nothing to do. There's nowhere to go. Everything shut down. Well, things weren't shut down in Atlanta, but we weren't going out in that.
Right. And just to remember that Princess was doing all of this for several years all alone, had to really take a toll on her mental health.
Right. She had to have a Wilson.
Right. She had to have a Wilson. You're absolutely right. Right. So it was kind of sad to see. And then it looks like, based on the trailers for next week, they're not going to go back. I kind of hate when they do that, because then it's like, now it's not 1 week of wondering what happens next. It's 2 weeks of what's happening next. And a lot of people I noticed on Twitter were saying they were getting Terminus vibes. I mean, I see the similarities as far as the trailers, but Terminus were straight out eating people. These people, they're not doing that.
We didn't know that at the time. So
Yeah.
At the beginning, it's Terminus vibes.
Yeah.
Where we're locked in trains. But it's kind of different because it's that cosplay. Like, were they wearing stormtrooper outfits?
I swear they're not officially, they're not, authorized by Disney, but they are definitely some cosplay.
Yeah, it seemed more cosplay. Like, these people probably were not that cool before the apocalypse. Mm-hmm. Which, I'm not saying anything's wrong with cosplay, because, we love it. We go out of places. But I wouldn't say we're the coolest people either.
Yeah. I don't know what these people are up to. I really don't. I want to say they might have some good intentions. I don't know if even these are people connected to Eugene's girl, or are these people even connected to Jadis and Rick? Like, is there any connection to that? The A, the B, and blah, blah, blah. So I'm curious of where this is all going and how it all is going to end up tying together.
I can't wait to see.
All right. Well, we will be back later this week, you guys, with the full recap. Hit us up, dead@theverdictsend.com. That is dead@theverdictsend.com if you would like your feedback to be discussed on the podcast. And let us know if you were getting some, what you thought of the stormtroopers. If it was, abuse of power. If The Walking Dead was trying to send us a bigger message as far as, people like that should be out there to help. Are they, are they using their power for good or for bad? And, how they see themselves in the bigger scheme of things. So.
Yeah, was Eugene right?
Yeah.
Yeah, evil is the rule.
That was not Eugene. That was Gabriel.
Gabriel, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was Gabriel right. It was like Eugene right. I'm like, we should all be scared.
Right.
Get back in there.
Get back in there. Yeah, Eugene was like, get back in your cage. Don't let me out. No.
What are you
not
doing?
Let me out of this cage.
We have to prove our allegiance.
Right. Eugene is a sucker. All right. I'm Nicole.
I'm Gary.
Bye.